So what's the deal with eye contact and autism? I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all over the world about parenting, good communications, all through the lens of the principle self-government, and I have some experience with autism. In this video, we're talking about autism and eye contact. So in this video, we're going to talk about autism and eye contact, why that's a thing, why do people talk about this, what do we need to know about it, and then what we can do to improve it, because guess what? It is possible. So what's the deal with this autism and eye contact conversation? So many people just assume that all autistic people cannot improve their eye contact. That is not true. For years, I did treatment foster care for troubled teens. Troubled youth came to my home, and most of them were non-neurotypical. There were some that were autistic, some that had ADHD, ADD, OCD, ODD, FAS, RAD, kleptomania, compulsive lying. I mean, so many things that we were dealing with, sensory issues and stuff. Those things also oftentimes relate to autism. And many of them did not have good eye contact, not just the people with autism. And guess what? I was able to teach all of them how to have good eye contact. So let's talk a little bit about eye contact. What do we need to know about that? So eye contact is one of the deepest ways that you actually connect with another person. Your eyes are the windows to your soul, and when you look at another person in their eyes, you actually get to see them deeper. The truth comes out. So there are many people who don't want to let people know what's going on, and so they don't make eye contact. This is a way that they actually maintain control of other people, or they feel like they're going to maintain control and keep an upper hand maybe, or just not let anyone know the real them. People with autism aren't necessarily doing that, although some of them are, okay? So don't just give them a free pass because of autism. Sometimes they're just insecure, or they don't know how to communicate yet. They haven't figured that out. For many people with autism, social situations and eye contact make them feel insecure, anxious, and uncomfortable. And so that's what we need to remember, is that this is just a sign that I feel uncomfortable. Whether I have autism or not, me not being able to make eye contact with another person is simply the message that I don't feel comfortable right now. But can you help a person, whether they're autistic or not, learn to feel comfortable and learn to establish that eye contact? Most definitely. Could people with autism experience more discomfort or have higher levels of anxiety? Yes. The answer is definitely yes. So it could take them a little bit longer to really get to a place where they feel like they have a habit of being able to look people in the eyes when they're talking. So we're going to talk about what to do to help increase eye contact. But first, click the subscribe button. There are so many great videos on this channel that are dedicated to people who are non-neurotypical. In fact, when I did treatment foster care, that's what I worked with, were youth who were non-neurotypical for the most part. And all of the things that I have outlined in my parenting system called Teaching Self-Government are for non-neurotypical people as well as typical people too. So click on subscribe now, because you're not going to want to miss all the information that comes out on this channel for you. So what do we do about it? How do we help improve eye contact? Well, the number one thing is we need to explain the purpose of eye contact so that a person can feel a connection with another person. So explain to your autistic child that it is important to establish connections with other people so that they understand you better, so that they can feel close to you, and so that you have more love and bonding that occurs. Have them practice with you. When they are little, instead of just looking eyes, say, I need you to look in my eyes and put your hands on top of my hands. So then they will put their hands down on top of your hands, and you can hold their hands while they look at you. And when they start looking away, it doesn't matter, because you're still establishing a connection there with the hands. And you might tickle their hands just a little bit so that they look at you, and then you can keep talking to them again. So the hands remind them to look at you, but they also establish a connection if for some reason they find it difficult to maintain that connection. Now, over time, you're going to teach them some of the 4 basic skills. I wrote these 4 children's books to teach the 4 basic skills of self-government to children. They each teach a different skill. The red one teaches following instructions. The green one teaches accepting no answers and criticism. The blue one teaches accepting consequences. And the purple one teaches disagreeing appropriately. Now they have some things in common. So they all have steps. Each skill has a certain number of steps. So for instance, to follow instructions, there's 5 steps. You look at the person, keep a calm face, voice, and body, say okay or ask to disagree appropriately, do the task immediately, and then check back. But did you hear that first step? Look at the person. Every one of the 4 basic skills has that as their first step. To look at the person. Now, some people might be thinking, well, that's it. I guess I can't learn self-government because my child is not going to look at the person. Your child can practice looking at the person again and again as you learn these 4 basic skills. And when you correct them, because they know how to accept a consequence because of this book, because of the blue book that I was talking about, then they can also be connecting with you and looking at you during that time. When you praise your child, you should make sure that you go to them and look in their eyes to praise them. Whenever you talk to the child, look at the child in the eyes. You know, many parents notice that their child won't look at them, but oftentimes the parents are doing things at the same time and not looking at the child too. I remember telling myself years ago, okay, with my children, I have to go to where they are so that they can look at me when I give instructions or no answers or need to do a correction. Because if I don't do that, I am denying them the opportunity to do step number 1. So instead of hollering through the house for them to come to me, I would go to them and say, I need you to look at me. Okay, here's my instruction that I'm going to give you. So looking at the person is something you deliberately encourage with each interaction with your child. Another thing that you can do is if your child has a hard time looking at you, have a time each day where you say, okay, right now, for 1 minute, we are going to put our hands on top of each other and we are going to look at each other and we are going to smile or we are going to sing a song or say a poem, something we already know, something easy. We are going to look at each other. We are going to practice looking at each other. And after we practice looking at each other, then we will declare, we did it. And then we will go and get a treat because of it or something. Have a positive motivation. Now, is it possible that a person who processes non-neurotypically could have a hard time focusing on your words if you are looking at them and they are looking at you? Yes, they could get distracted. Think ADD people, okay? They sometimes have a hard time focusing in on somebody. Sometimes it's easier for them just to listen auditory. But this is usually only if the person is an auditory learner. So keep that in mind. Any auditory learner could have a hard time focusing in on your eyes for long periods of time. Good eye contact also includes looking away from time to time. Even though they're looking at you, they're also looking at all the stuff around you. They're watching your eyes and your mouth and your nose and your hair and your ears and your hands. They're watching all of it. And that still is good eye contact. So don't necessarily force the drilling into the eyes really solid too much. Let it be a little bit more natural and normal and explain it to your children too. Looking in the eyes takes practice. Pre-teach your children how to do it when they interact with you, and then have deliberate interactions where you actually look in their eyes. Even have practice sessions with positive consequences after for when you're looking in your eyes. And the children will find much more success. Also, I would recommend that you observe when they communicate with other people and you let them know when they've done a great job looking in somebody else's eyes. When somebody recognizes when they've had that contact, they can more easily duplicate it in the future. Just because a person has autism doesn't mean they can't learn to have eye contact. Eye contact is just around the corner for all of us if we choose to be vulnerable, honest, and open and accept those eye contact moments with other people. If you've enjoyed this video, I'm pretty sure you'll love my next video, which is a full-length class all about the principles and skills of self-government that I've been mentioning, and it is called The Not-So-Known Secret for Parenting Success. So click on the link to that video now, and I'll see you there.